I'm gonna have Mr. Abdelnasser Rashid for District 21 now come up here and talk about himself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let me also start by thanking the host committee and everyone who came today, Jazakumullah khair, for putting on such a wonderful event and such a great group of people. And also thanking my fellow candidates for jumping in. I know how hard it is. Done it multiple times. And so, wishing you both the best of luck, inshallah, in November. I wanna actually start by thanking Hafiz Ahmed Mirza for that beautiful recitation, for being such a role model for our children. Inshallah. I don't see him, but he may have had to go to sleep. But, but also for the humbling reminder, أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نقدس به. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, better?
Yeah, it's better.
So he reminded the ayah that he reminded us of the angels asking Allah, أتجعل فيها, will you put on this earth, من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء, people who will cause fasad and who will shed blood. May Allah protect us from being those people and help us uphold peace and do good for our communities, which is why we're running. I want to also really thank all of you for being part of my political journey. Even though the district I'm running in now is not close to here, unfortunately, I wish I could represent the people in this room and people nearby. But when I ran for Cook County Commissioner in 2018, I had a lot of displays, and even though that wasn't Morton Grove, a lot of people supported me. And then when I ran for Board of Review in 2020, it did include a lot of the areas near us, and you all embraced me and welcomed me and supported me. And even though we didn't win those races, it, alhamdulillah, set us up to be able to run this cycle and to win a pretty historic primary. In June, I ran in the Democratic primary against a 14-year incumbent, a very powerful guy who was the chair of the Revenue Committee and had support, frankly, from every quarter of the Democratic Party and every major institution. And we were essentially on our own, and we were outspent dramatically as well. They spent over $1 million to defeat us. We spent less than a third of what they spent. And alhamdulillah, we came out on top. We won. We won by about 5%, and the one of the lessons from this is it really does take persistence, and it takes our continued investment and support of the candidates in our community who are doing this work, because sometimes we're going to take a loss, and inshallah, Nabila doesn't have to take a loss first. We want to help her win on November 8th this time. And send not just one, but 2 and 3 people to Springfield, inshallah. And Azam got so close last cycle. Like he said, he also had an incredible primary victory. And Nabila's primary victory this year was also really important and really historic. She, a Muslim woman running, and I'm sorry to be jumping in here, she ran against a white woman in an area that is going to be predominantly white, and Nabila won overwhelmingly. So it is really exciting to think about not being one person going to Springfield from our community, but 3. And it absolutely amplifies our power and our ability to influence policy making and to give our community a significant voice in Springfield. So inshallah, with your help, you can send all 3 of us there. Let me tell you just briefly about myself. I've met some of you in the past, but you all may not know a whole lot about me. I was born in Chicago in Cook County Hospital. My parents actually came from Palestine to Puerto Rico, then to Chicago. In 1970, we moved to Chicago. So I've been here for 52 years. I moved back to Palestine when I was 5 years old and lived there for 6 years, did all of my elementary school there. Came back and went to Universal School in Bridgeview, where I graduated, and then went to Harvard University for undergraduate studies, studied political science and computer science, and came back. I got my feet wet in politics in 2008, working on the Obama campaign in Michigan. And then I came back home and worked in the immigrant rights movement for a few years. That's where I met Dr. Qaisaruddin and so many other people who were involved in CIOGC and other Muslim organizations. After my time in the immigrant rights movement, I worked in a few campaigns and in government. I worked on Chuy Garcia's campaign for mayor in 2015, on Bernie Sanders' campaign for president in 2016, and some other campaigns. And I worked in Cook County government for 4 years, 3 of them with former Cook County Clerk David Orr, some of you may remember, and 1 year with the assessor Fritz Kagi, who defeated the previous corrupt assessor Joe Barrios in 2018. And so, and that brings me to kind of why, one of the main reasons why I'm running, and you all remember when I ran for Board of Review, this pretty obscure role in 2020 that oversees property tax administration. It's really important to me that our families, working families, middle-class families, small businesses are given a fair shake by our government. That just because you're wealthy, just because you have political access, just because you're privileged, you're not, you don't get, to get benefits that everyone else is having to pay for, and then nickel and diming our families. We all know with the current economic situation, people are hurting, small businesses are hurting. And it's really important that our government actually stand up for the people and represent the people who we're supposed to serve. For me, a big part of that is property tax reform, making sure that our assessment system is fair, making sure that people are able to not pay a dime more than they should, and that small businesses are able to flourish, inshallah. So there's so much more, of course, that the state is responsible for, making sure that public education system is serving our children, making sure that our environment is protected, and a lot of other issues that we're going to engage in the Q&A. But what I want to just end with is we cannot take anything for granted. Yes, I, alhamdulillah, won the biggest hurdle in my primary, but we do need to make sure that we keep our eyes on the prize and continue working really hard to win in November. And for all of you in the room, your financial support means a tremendous deal to all three of us, but also anything that you can do to be involved. I know my district is a little far, you're a little closer to Nabila's and I think to Azim's as well than to mine, but coming out to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to write postcards, any way that you engage with our campaigns would be very appreciated, inshallah. Thank you all again. Assalamu alaikum.